Well, Coasters, this week for the Chat by the Fire, I'm with the Grey District Mayor Tania Gibson, and I'm not even sure what we're going to chat about. But Tania, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks,
it's really
Chris.
appreciated. What's happening on the coast?
Well, there's a lot happening on the coast, as we know. We've had a lot of funding that's coming our way from government. We need to get prepared and work together to get a lot of these projects over the line, to get the shovels turned as they're wanting them. But it's exciting times, I think, compared to the rest of the country. I think we're actually going okay.
Do you get the feeling that there is a fairly significant downturn coming, but that it almost feels like we're a little bit insulated? Would that be?
It does, and I was thinking this morning that, sometimes when the rest of the country has a downturn, the West Coast has an upturn. So maybe it won't, but a lot of people are expecting it. But I'm talking to people that are just saying that they're flat out at the moment. So retail, tourism is obviously really struggling, so we don't want to make out that it's all great and good, but there's a lot of positive that I'm hearing.
It's interesting. I mean, you look at the things that have made the news in the last 2 or 3 weeks. Locking up some rivers for the canyoners, objecting to the Griffin Creek power scheme. Are those types of issues something that, how can we handle them?
I don't know, Bruce. We're always in a fight, aren't we, with these people, these minority groups that want to tell us what to do, and it's so frustrating. We have to keep up the fight, but we have to do it together, don't we? I think that working together collectively with the mayors, chairs and iwi, I think we're doing well together, and I think we do need to keep it up.
What are the major issues that you see that we need to look at going forward?
Well, it's keeping employment and keeping our districts vibrant and resilient. But I do think that West Coasters, we've weathered a lot over the years, and I think that we know how to be resilient, and we need to look at diversifying, we need to look at different options. But I think that, from COVID we've learned a lot, and I think that we are going quite well. So major issues is all about employment and keeping us resilient and seeing what's coming next. Keeping up technology, finding more ways of employment.
Now, congratulations on securing the $500,000 for the Mayor's Task Force. Do you have any plans on that? What does it actually mean? I mean, how's that going to work?
We're looking at helping, it's the same with your employers and employees. Anybody that's looking at employing somebody at the moment to come to us, we can help them with funding, whether it be for training, health and safety courses, licenses, wage subsidies as such. So we just want to hear from anybody that's looking at employing, and also looking at the youth. It's quite aimed at 16 to 26 year olds, but doesn't have to be. But we want youth to stay on the coast too, and giving them training opportunities and something that will be sustainable through that. So I'm excited to get down on the ground and start talking to businesses about that. We've already had businesses approaching us, so it got approved today, our proposal, so we can now get moving and getting out into businesses and talking to them and seeing how they're going at this time too. It's
pretty exciting, I reckon, and targeted at that right group that right age group as well. Now, apprenticeship schemes. I understand there's an apprenticeship scheme out there that if you've taken on an apprentice in the last 2 years, there's actually funding available for you. Do you know anything about that?
Yes, there's heaps of different funding. MSD have trade funding available for employers. I think the first year you might get up to around 24,000 to start training, and then the next year it's a lesser amount in the next year, but there's still funding for every year. But as far as my industry goes, as hairdressing, there's a lot of people now that work from home, and the capabilities of having 4 or 5 people in there to train an apprentice is where I see the problem lying. But my husband and I trades all the way, and you can create a great lifestyle. We've got plumbers, electricians, builders in Greymouth and the Grey District, and all around here, it's Hokitika, as we can see. Everybody's busy, and it can move you into other jobs as well.
So if there's a tradesperson out there that has either taken an apprentice on in the last 2 years or is looking at taking an apprentice on, what do they do? Send you a text?
Yes, and there's funding with DWC to upskill your staff as well. So there's lots of funding options available at the moment. So we're all trying to work together, but just to get the word out there, because I don't think a lot of people realise how they can get help.
Yeah, I think you're right. Now, Kiwi Rail. wasn't it wonderful to see the train come back in for the school
The
holidays?
trains made a huge difference to, well, the Grey District. Shantytown was over 100 people up each day through the school holidays. We have noticed since it stopped in the weekdays that town is a little bit quieter, but it's a godsend for when it is coming in, and I think that it's proved itself to Kiwi Rail. And the $75 fares, I think that the fares were great. Like Greymouth or West Coast kids had the chance to go on it, that never really would have the opportunity, and I think now they've put the prices back up, it's still got consistent bookings, so really good to hear.
We might have to see if Greg Miller will come across with a coasters rate.
Yes.
That'd be fantastic, wouldn't it?
Yes, it was good to know him on the platform, and his concerns about Revies. There is some action happening at Revington's Hotel, the asbestos removers are there, so hopefully we can get that down so that that's not the first thing that our visitors are seeing to Greymouth.
Now the Amoto slip, I saw that you've been successful in getting funding to repair that. That looks like a big job.
It is a big job, and we hope that it's stabilised well for the future, because it was a real shock when that came down, and the businesses on either side and people having to come into town, it affected town greatly as well. So it's just been one thing after another since I've become mayor, and it affected lots of businesses, so they were really suffering through that too.
Well, we'll get all the bad stuff out of the way.
Yeah.
Then we'll get on with the good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I motor slip, COVID.
Stop it.
But it's through all that, we're still doing well. We're going okay. So.
Now, have you been through the new hospital?
Yes, I've been through it a few times in the progress, and it's beautiful. And I think that the patients or the people that will be going in there now that haven't seen it will be quite surprised at how lovely it is. And I think the staff will be looking forward to working in such a great new facility.
What a magnificent piece of economic development, $121 million. And I've been told that it's the greatest spend per capita in the history of New Zealand for a hospital.
Oh wow,
so
that's good to hear.
I say well done on that.
Well, we are lucky to have such a great facility, a new facility, because it's it'll just benefit years to come, and hopefully it will attract. We always have a problem getting staff in the hospital. Hopefully it'll attract people to come and work in our hospital.
Well, certainly the technology, just stunning. What about fishing industry?
Fishing industry, that seems to be going along quite well, and we've got over $7 million for the port, so we're looking forward to getting that underway. We're still going through process of designs and things like that, but to upgrade that port, it's always been quite a burden on the ratepayer, but I think the fishing industry will be looking forward to it too. But we've always had Westfleet and Tallies that go great guns down there, and they employ people in our town, and I think sometimes they get overlooked. I think sometimes they deserve more recognition for what they actually do and contribute to our town. I know when I brought that ice rink to town, Westfleet gave us $5,000 for that.
Wow.
Community benefits of what sometimes people don't see is,
And of course, a lot of the fish are caught off the Westland coast, and without the facilities in Greymouth, we'd be shot. All the crayfish, all the wet fish.
Yep. I don't think people realise.
That's a very good point. We have to put some work into that. Tell me now, the slipway. What's happening there? You've got some money for that?
Yep, the slipway. That's we got $3 million for the slipway. So we're going to have more capacity on the slipway for heavier fishing fleets, and we are the only one between Bluff and Nelson. So it will hopefully encourage. Well, some of our boats have to go away to go to the slipway in Nelson, so hopefully they can stay here, and the work that it will help us with will have offshoots to other businesses around the district too.
Is they go away because they're too big? Is that?
Yes, they're too big to get up on our slipway to be maintained and repaired. So this is going to increase that capacity. So
now tell me, how did you convince government to pay for your new reservoirs for the ratepayer in Greymouth?
Oh,
there must have been a deal going on there.
Well, we've got the PGF and we get confused with the shovel-ready projects, but that was a shovel-ready application, and one of the main things I had in mind for Mayor, or one of my main priorities, was to make our water supply more resilient. So well on the way to that. We've got the 2 new reservoirs going up, and we've budgeted for one on the Cobden side in our annual plan. So
brilliant.
We're really on the way to that, and now we're all going through these water reforms that we're all trying to figure out how it works, and there's more funding available. So we're working our way through that.
Well, I've just had a look at the paperwork that came through, and it looks like you're going to get over $3 million for the first part of that for the Grey District.
Yes, and we had 4 reservoirs planned, and so there was the other 3, so maybe that will contribute towards that 4th reservoir, and lots of underground pipe renewals and things like that. So it's going to go a long way to that resilient water supply, because our old reservoirs on the Emoda Slip, and it was built in 1904, well, not directly on the Emoda Slip, but on the Emoda Hill, which is notorious in itself. So 1904, if we have the big event, then we can secure the water supply for Cobden and the Greymouth sides, and we'll have hopefully more hope at getting through it for the communities.
Now, a lovely photograph of Tony Cookshawn in the paper last night.
Yes.
Well deserved, in my view.
It is well deserved, and good to see that finally, because that was a hiccup through COVID as well, that got actually postponed. So good to see that he's finally got it. So
what have you've been mayor for nearly a year coming up, isn't it? Oh, it'll be another couple of months, is it?
Yeah, well, yeah, October, isn't it? I think that, isn't it a year?
Well, Greymouth's got a history of mayors that stay a long time. Are you in the mood for staying on?
At the moment, I would say yes. I love doing out the job that we do, and you know, you meet some inspiring people. You work with the community. I mean, no doubt about it. We have our tough days, don't we? It's you have your sleepless nights, but I can certainly say that I love what I do, and I'm really racing to work sometimes just to get there for the excitement of what's happening next and what we can achieve. So I'll definitely be in.
well, Coasters, we I can't beat that. I think Tania, thanks for taking the chat, and for having a chat. It's great to hear just some of the things that are going on, and we'll have to do it more often.
We will. It's good. Enjoy working with you, Bruce.